Govinda Deshikam Upasya Siraya Bhaktyam Tasmin Sthite Nijamahini Videhmuktyam Advaitya Bhashyam Upakalpa Diso Vijityam Kanchipure Sthitam Avapasa Shankaraya Ritismriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavadpata Shankaram Lokashankaram Apara Karuna Sindhum Jnanatam Shantarupinam Sri Chandrasekarendra Gurum Pranamami Mudanmugam Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmatacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Seeking the benediction of Adi Shankaracharya and his lineage up to the 70th Guru, the venerated Kamakoti Peetam, Pujya Sri Shankara Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal, and the 71st Guru, Sri Chandrasekarendra Saraswathi Swamigal, with whose benign blessings and grace this function is being held, I raise to address you today. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this pleasant and solemn function organized this evening to confer the 28th SIES Sri Chandrasekarendra Saraswathi National Eminence Award for the year 2025. These awards are given in 4 distinct human endeavors: public leadership, community leadership, science and technology, and spiritual leadership and philosophy. In a sense, all these aggregate to the full gamut of life. These awards, therefore, are a celebration of life itself. These awards are given in honor, memory, and in reverence of the Mahaswami of Kanchi, Pujya Sri Chandrasekarendra Saraswathi Swamiji, the 68th Shankaracharya of this ancient and glorious Peetam. Time has indeed flown. It was as if a few years ago, this awards journey for celebrating human excellence started. But over these years, including this year, 113 men and women of extraordinary achievements and accomplishments, men and women who have stamped infinity on the thought and process of their nation and added to the reservoir of goodness of their blessed land, have all been blessed and decorated with this award. These awardees include 3 former presidents of India, 2 vice presidents, 3 prime ministers, 2 speakers of Lok Sabha, 5 governors, 5 chief ministers, 5 Bharat Ratnas, 6 foreigners who have espoused the cause of Indian culture in their homeland, and 27 Padma Vibhushans, in all aggregating to more than 3/5 of the awardees to whom this honor and blessings has been given till date. On an occasion like this, which is joy, mirth and glee, it is but natural that one goes down the memory lane as to how, from a humble beginning, an ordinary Kannadiga Brahmin boy from the Oisala community, from an obscure village of Vidupuram in Tamil Nadu, graduated to become one of the tallest saints of the 20th century. During his century-long sojourn in this universe, he walked the length and breadth of this country, spreading goodwill and compassion all around. Like the lighthouse that beats no drum and sounds no gong, and yet to the mariner in the distant sea, where to experience its friendly light, so too was the sage of Kanchi. He was a spiritual colossal. He was the voice of eternal India. This master of masters was like a lambent light who rekindled the spirit of the nation and brought about a renaissance in many fields of religion, thought and process. He taught mankind groping in the dark, despite all the strides in science and technology, as to how to journey to a higher destiny and attain Atma Swaraj, the freedom of the mind. He shed his mortal coil on the 8th of January, 1994. 32 years have gone by. We still hear the divinity of his voice and the infinitude of his presence. The sage of Kanchi lives in the hearts and minds of his devotees. In its own unobtrusive way, the Kamakoti Peetam symbolizes the true spirit of Hinduism, tolerant, non-dietetic. With his aura, credibility and authority, gained over 87 years of the pontificate, he ascended the Peetam at the tender age of 13 and lived a full 100 years. He was naturally an authority on Indian scriptures, religion, philosophy and thought, and therefore was at the center stage of the cultural renaissance of the country in the 20th century. No one returned from his effulgent presence without a sense of confidence and determination to face the challenges of life. He showed no signs of pedantry, nor did he suffocate anyone who came into contact with him with his scholarship and erudition. He was like a cool breeze on a warm, sunny day. Between the last awards function on the 24th of December 2024 and today, 4 of the most distinguished scientists of this country in the post-independent era, who were all decorated with this award, breathed their last and moved to the world beyond. Padma Vibhushan Dr. K. Kasturi Rangan, the architect of the National Education Policy 2020, an alumnus of our institution, a patron of our society. Dr. R. Chidambaram, a patron of our society, the longest serving principal scientific advisor to the Government of India. That famous astrophysicist Padma Vibhushan Dr. Jayant Narlikar, and Padma Bhushan Dr. Ramnarayan Agarwal of the Agni Missile fame of the 1980s, all moved from the seen to unseen. Even during this year, the Government of India conferred its highest civilian honors, the Bharat Ratna, on Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, who also was decorated with this award in the year 2007. We seek of all these scientists, wherever they are ensconced, their blessings and grace for the welfare of humanity. The preachings and the sayings of the sage of Kanchi, over more than 7 decades of his pontificate, were all brought out in the original Tamil version, naturally to him because he lived in Tamil Nadu most of the time, in Tamil, Deivathin Kural. It was our fortune to have got them translated into several volumes across the nation in all languages. Voice of God in English, in Hindi, Marathi, Kannada, Telugu, 2 volumes in Bengali, and 1 in Assamese. The gems from the Paramacharya, the 100 pregnant thoughts that he had given during his lifetime, were brought out in all the languages of the country. Those were included both in schedule to the Constitution and even beyond. This year, it was our fortune and blessings to have the voice of God brought out in Russian. And a few copies I had sent across to Dr. S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister of this country, who received this award last year. And I had requested him that these be shared with the Russian delegation, which comes on a state visit along with Vladimir Putin, the President of Russia. And I am sure with the Assam Chief Minister being present over here today, we will get some scholars from that state who are adept in English or Hindi and who therefore will be able to translate the rest of the 6 volumes of Voice of God in Assamese for the benefit of the people of that part of this country. Santo Mahanto Nivasanti Santo Vasanta Vallokahitam Karantaha, says Adi Shankara. Like the eternal spring that brings in good tidings, freshness and green all around, so too are saints and servants. Ananta Kalyana Guna Sampannaha is how the Lord is described in the scriptures, one who is endowed with all auspicious qualities. The sage of Kanchi was no different. He was a Bandar, an Akshaya Patra of virtues. Small wonder, to the large family of devotees, he was a Nadamadam Devam, that God who walked the earth in the 20th century. His disciples came from far and beyond, not just confined to the borders of this land. King Constantine of Greece, Anna Mary of Spain, Queen Anna Mary of Spain, Princess Irene of Greece in later years in Madrid, who got this award in the year 2013, were all his devotees, who came unfailing to India on most occasions to offer their obeisance to the sage of Kanchi. King Tribhuvan of Nepal and his worthy son King Birendra were direct disciples of the Mahaswami and unfailingly would do Pada Puja to the sage whenever they were on a state visit or on a private visit. Sergei Emily Demetran, who also received this award in an earlier year, was of Danish origin. In later years, he served in Paris. He had the first darshan of the Mahaswami of Kanchi in the year 1968 in the then Hyderabad. The enigmatism, the magnet that pulled him, for 26 long years, he came unfailingly to India for a minimum of 2 months. And he would come into the mutt, day in and day out, just watch what the sage was doing. And he brought out all his observations of the sage, his thoughts, his precepts, into a book the sage with the eyes of light. In later years, he retired to Tiruvannamalai, from where he departed to the world beyond. This year, the sage of Kanchi always used to say that I am prone to the conclusion that there exists none without predominant selfish motives. But over the years, one which is very natural to me, he says, that came on to me, that there still exists in the world. There were, there are, and there will be some who are rooted in morals and ethics, who forsake their own sadhana for the benefit of others and their spiritual elevation. It is to the like of them that the rishis of the yore have spoken of 100 years. In honoring them, we honor ourselves. Today, 4 such men with outstanding accomplishments and merit, one worthy of being honored in the words of the Mahaswami of Kanchi, and one representative of an association of which we all are proud of, are decorating the stage today. None of them have anchored for awards or recognitions, not certainly these divine blessings. They have never gone after them like the mirages in the deserts. It is a grateful society that has acknowledged their contribution and their service to humanity that they have been showered with all the titles, honors and accolades. It is one thing to deserve an honor and not have it, and another thing is to have it and not deserve it. Dignity lies not in possessing an honor, but deserving it, said Mark Twain. Honor and shame from no condition arise. Act well your part, therein the honor lies, said Pope John Paul VI. Each one of them, without exception, have discharged their responsibilities with honor and pride. Small wonder, this evening, they are all being blessed with this award. Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, the 15th Chief Minister of Assam, had a deep yearning for public life at a very young age. So even during his learning days, the student days, he got involved into the political system by dint of very hard work and devotion to duty. He rose the hierarchy and occupied several ministerial positions, like the Swamiji said in his address, in the government of Assam before he became the Chief Minister of Assam. He is a man on a mission mode. So aggressive, 24/7, thinking of the welfare of the people of his state. The various measures that he had initiated ever since he became the Chief Minister have had a telling effect on the poverty in that place. Several people have been lifted above the BPL, not just notches away, but several spaces above. And all these welfare measures that he had taken have attracted the attention of the nation and even beyond. Breathe there the man with soul so dead, who hath not said, "This my own, my land, my countrymen," said Walter Scott. Patriotism, or its colloquial nationalism, is not something that is attached to a parched piece of land or an identity that people commonly share. But then, people who are born by an heritage, brought together by a common thought, philosophy, and then stick to a land to which they belong. Certainly, the benefits of democracy and the gains of development will have to accrue to those who created it, and then only others in the world can aspire for a share of that. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam may be an Upanishadic value, but it certainly means that take care of the people who have done it before it reaches others. There can be no better example of this than the Honorable Prime Minister's action of COVID management, when the entire country's requirement of the vaccines were taken care, and then by ramping up production to distant countries across the world, not only were they supplied free, even the distribution cost was borne by the government of India. And it is that principle that Himanta Biswa Sarma is following to prevent illegal immigration across the borders of his state. And if we were not to do it, sooner or later it will travel down the country, reach West Bengal and even beyond. It is not that those people who are trying to come to this part of the country deserve compassion. They certainly deserve, because the nations to which they belong to over decades of misrule and misgovernance, have such spectre of poverty that people have never been able to lift themselves. So they aspire to improve their lives. They start looking to the greener pastures elsewhere. But then, our country still has several people below the poverty line. There are several people even today cannot read and write. And it is therefore this work of Dr. Biswa Sarma is very pronounced, very impactful and necessary given the times that the countries across our nation which are surrounding us are in various states of distress. Small wonder, various surveys that have been carried out in recent times have all voted him as the most performing chief minister of all the major states of the country. The Singapore government conferred on him the highest award, the Lee Kuan Yew, the former Prime Minister's Fellowship, for his determination and contribution to public service. We are beholden to him for having come a very long way, all the way to be with us this evening, to accept these blessings in the name and in honor and memory of the Paramacharya of Kanchi. I am sure with these blessings and the good wishes of all of us, he will move the political hierarchy in the years ahead. And one day, believe me, he will occupy that coveted chair which has been decorated by the likes of Bharat Ratnas of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Govind Vallabh Pant, and in our recent memories, Lal Krishna Advani. Who in Mumbai would not know of the Dabbawalas of Mumbai? The 150,000 office goers, if they are enjoying hot homemade food, it is thanks to the work that they have done. Such is the precision with which they deliver that in a world which is dominated by algorithms, high mathematical sciences and artificial intelligence, a simple alphanumeric system has put the world by surprise that there is a zero error in the distribution system that they have. Small wonder, business schools from across the world are coming over to Mumbai to study how the Dabbawalas of Mumbai are so perfect in their delivery system. Shri Ullas Mukhe, the president of the association, representing all the Dabbawalas of the city, is here to receive the award and the blessings in the name of the Paramacharya of Kanchi. In the month of April this year, the Pahalgam tragedy, the catastrophe that broke out, where mindless terrorist action had felled and taken the lives of 25 holiday years of our country and one Nepali citizen. The government of India launched a counter-attack, a reprisal, measured, calibrated and non-escalatory to bring justice to the fallen victims of the mindless terrorist attack engineered from across the border. On the night of 7th of December, the 7th of May 2025, the night sky glittered. It blazed and dazed with deep layer systems, defense systems, drone warfare, and those invisible missiles which struck deadly at the enemy sites and the headquarters of the terrorist organization. Morning when the world woke up, they realized that a nation very strong in its defense preparedness and the ammunition in its armory has come onto the horizon of the world, and the world had started taking note as to how over these years India has prepared itself in its defense capabilities. A peace-loving country, for the last 55 years, India had not seen any war after 1971. Most of these, the BrahMos, the Agni, or the missile, Akash missiles that we are talking today, are all products of later period. And therefore the world never knew when they were stockpiled as to what they are capable of. But stalwarts like these two who are sitting over here have now told the world after so many years that if only India had used it earlier, the world would have been put to risk. And of course the Indian budget would have gone up very well, because the defense budget would have seen revenue of a substantial nature coming both from BrahMos and the other missiles that Akash and others are giving. Both Dr. Shivatanu Pillai, the architect of BrahMos, which is a joint venture with Russia, and Dr. Prahlad Ramarao, who is credited as the first director, project director of the Akash missile, which played havoc on that night, are with us today. They are the darling scientists of the nation today, and in honoring them, we are extremely delighted that they have made this nation strong over the years. And what to speak about one of the foremost Advaitins of our living times, one who has transmitted and transmuted the Vedantic knowledge, the great heritage of this land across to the student community and perpetuated it for times to come. As I come to the end of my address, may the Jagannathu Kamakoti Kamakshi shed her grace on all of them. May they live a long life. May they achieve the purposes of their lives. And the Janma Safalyam, whatever they have earmarked for themselves in life, may that be achieved. May the Jagannathu bless us too, so that we can draw a leaf from the life of nobility of all these men, incorporate into our lives through passage of time, in this eternal quest, in this pilgrimage of perfection, a little of the selflessness, sacrifice and seva that has been the hallmark of their lives, and make our lives sublime. Thank you and God bless.